Hi, my name is Benjamin. I'm 9 years sober. I continue every day to look to help others, to give back to those who have helped me, and to the community that's given me everything back into my life.
I'm Heather Champion. I'm a licensed mental health counselor with a private practice. I met Ben while working at an outpatient treatment center called The Retreat that's not here anymore. We've maintained our friendship since then and enjoy taking time to talk about therapy and our lives as champions.
Disclaimer: the content of this video is intended for informational use only. It is in no way intended as a replacement for medical or psychological advice. Should you have a medical or psychological issue, please consult with a medical professional.
Okay, housekeeping said. So you were saying that you went back to AA recently and you found that going to those meetings, there was a reason why you were there for all of them. Can you explain what that means?
Yes. So recently I've gone through some changes in my life for the better if I allow myself to view the bigger picture. That being said, something I've learned early on in my sobriety and throughout working in the field I do is sometimes you have to go back to your roots to rediscover what you're really doing. So all 2 weeks ago, me being the alcoholic I am in nature, I want to put things off that are better for me to do because it's scary to do new things. So for the whole 2 weeks in prior, I would make every plan to go do these meetings, but knew I was giving myself an out. Until one Thursday, my best friend texted me and said, "You're just making excuses for yourself." He said in nicer terms, but I read through what he meant is just get your ass to do what you have to do. So I made plans with a coworker. Everything was good. I made it for 12 o'clock because I can do that. And on Friday, I started to have a great idea of, well, I'll just wake up at 6 o'clock, get to the 7 o'clock meeting. And when I realized I was doing that, I realized I was making outs for myself, ways to get out of things, ways to do things that, were not the right way to do them. So 11:30 or 11 o'clock came. I was getting ready, got in the shower. And before I get in the shower, I send a text, "Hey, are we still on for today?" And when I get out this shower, I get a text back, "Hey, sorry, something came up. I got to help my kids with something." And it gave me every out, gave me every reason. Well, I don't like social anything. I don't want to be around people I don't know. That's not for me anymore. And interesting enough, a client said something to me that previous Thursday, which was very simple. He said, "Ben, it's a damn hour. Get over yourself and go." And as I was trying to come up with a reason not to go, that client's voice came into my head, and I realized that it's me who has to do things for me. Nobody else will. So, get my butt ready. I head to the meeting. And on the drive to the meeting, it hit me that I stopped living life for me. I lived life for everybody but me, and I forgot what made me happy. I get to the meeting. This nice young man was next to me. He said, "Oh, welcome. Is it your first time?" And my ego, being my ego, wanted to say, "No, I have 9 years sober. I'm just coming back." But I let my ego go and I said, "I'm just returning. Thank you for the introduction." So we chat a little bit. As the meeting begins, the speaker opened up the book. He said, "Today's going to be a reading." I chose the reading today. So he opens the book. He says, "Go to this page. The meeting today is going to be on change of routine." In that moment, I looked up, like honestly looked up. I just said, "Okay, God, I see you." The young kid looked at me, said, "What did you just say?" I said, "Brother, there's a reason I'm at this meeting today." As the meeting unfolded, I just felt better within myself. At the end of the meeting, I usually don't share, but I decided that that was the reason to share, as I was there for that exact reason. So I opened up. Um, and next thing I know, I was leaving again, back in my old routines. I wanted to leave right away and just avoid things, avoid people asking me questions, my ego, of course, coming into play there. And a young lady came up to me, and it was cute. It was me and this young kid at first, and he noticed like he was the third wheel and slinked away, and it was kind of cute. And me and this young lady started talking, and she just said, "Hey, I know what you're going through. Just keep coming back. There's people here." I get out the meeting. I go to my truck. I want to leave right away. Something said, "You don't leave a meeting right away." That's not what I tell my clients to do. Why would I do that then? So I go back and chat with some people for a little bit. And as I'm leaving, I just have this feeling like I haven't had since I was in my first year of sobriety. that newfound feeling of, oh, I can do this. Life isn't that scary. Life is just going to keep moving. I have to choose to move with it, or I'm going to be stuck. Um, so I called my mom right afterwards. I was just had that elated feeling of, okay, I can do this. And then went back last Thursday or last Wednesday, and this was definitely a God moment. I show up exactly 1 minute late, and as I'm walking to the door, there's another gentleman walking up. He said, "Oh, Ben, the meeting's this way. Is that your name?" I said, "Yes." "What was your name again?" He said, "It's so and so." I said, "Interesting." I look back at his car and I recognize his car. So we keep going. We go to the meeting. We finish up the meeting. And I'm just watching his mannerisms because I know this man. He comes up to me. He said, "Wait, you're Benjamin." I said, "I am." He said, "Are you okay?" I said, "I'm okay." He said, "Did you land on your feet?" And I knew what the connection was. I said, "Yes, I landed on my feet." Funny thing is, the last time I talked to this man, I was actually talking to his wife. She was in fear that he'd never get sobriety.
Mm,
This man now has 2.5 years. The lesson I learned from that is he's the one who opened the door for me.
mm.
Doesn't matter how long you have in this thing, sometimes you need guidance from no matter who it is. And that was the funny way of God working things out.
Was he there at the end of retreat?
About 2 years ago, yeah, before we closed,
Yeah.
an IOP. And it was just one of those blessings that, sent a text to my friends, and the older friend said, maybe if you got out your own damn way, you would see the beauty that you left on other people's lives. And that just really hit me of I'm hiding myself out of fear of myself.
Mhm.
So I just keep going back, and every single time I've gone back, it's been a message I needed to hear, some form or another, if I was looking to be honest with myself.
Mhm. I think that's usually what the power of those types of meetings are, whether you're going to church. I know when I was back home, I used to go to yoga classes a lot. Yoga classes were like my meetings because my friends who were the teachers, or when I was teaching, like it would be like a meeting for somebody who came to see me, that we would start with a homily. And it was something that we would come up with. I had a couple of books I would read. So I'd have something prepared ahead of time to read and talk about in the beginning and the end of a hatha class. That's what we do. We do a little bit of reflection and meditation on something. And usually, like everybody mills around, kind of like at a meeting, everybody mills around at the end and, chats. Haven't found that so much in Florida, but in New York, that was, something. So I know I'd be fighting myself to go. Like, I know I need to go. I know I need to go. I know I need to go. And I would have to do everything in the world to force myself to go.
And it's hard. It's yeah, coming back after 9 years is again a lot of what my original treatment plan was. Ben has to keep ego in check.
Mhm.
And once I realized it's my ego keeping me out the rooms more than me keeping me out the rooms, I knew where I had to start really addressing myself.
So, what do you mean by that ego?
Ego is I have 9 years sober. When you come back in, any new meetings, especially since I've never been up this way for meetings, they're going to say, "Oh, is it your first time or your first time at this meeting?" My ego says, "Oh, I have 9 years. I don't need to have that question asked of me." Reality is, it's just me uncomfortable saying that I walked away from the program and thought I could do better without it.
Mhm.
I still have my
So,
sobriety, I still have my happiness, but I lost the community aspect of it.
So it sounds like, in this case for you, and I know this is something that's big in the rooms, is that ego is me feeling like I don't need this, like I've got this.
To a degree. And for me, it's I never think I have alcoholism, but for me, it was more I have me. As long as I have me, I got this. Reality is what I realized when I was driving to that meeting. No, I don't have me. I have the version of me that's doing well, but I've lost the version of me that had enjoyment out of all this.
Mhm.
That part of me that looked for new connections, for new adventures, new journeys. And once I realized that my ego cannot stand in the way of that, and I have to embrace this new adventure for what it is, it's made it a lot easier to continue moving forward with all these things.
Mhm. It's kind of letting go of who I think I should be.
Yeah. And a lot of it is recognition of I don't have to be perfect in everybody's eyes. I just have to be good enough for me.
Hmm.
And I think in life that's, I think we all come with those challenges. We hit spots in our life where we feel like we're not hitting everybody's marks, but reality, what I've learned over the last couple of weeks is everyone knew what I was going through. I just had to be brave enough to say it out loud.
Yeah. I think, it's funny because I had a conversation recently with somebody who is always getting down on herself because she's got all these goals that she wants to meet. I remember you and I talked about like, how do I get better with goal setting? She was talking about all these goals that she wants to meet that we keep talking about in her sessions, but she isn't able to do it. And she gets so mad at herself every time. And I'm like, honey, you have to accept where you are. If it's hard to get out of bed when your alarm goes off, and you get out of bed when your alarm goes off one day, you know what you need to do? You need to pat yourself on the back like, hey, I did it. And then instead of getting mad at yourself for maybe not getting out the house as early as you had hoped, like, oh, I got up 15 minutes early. I should be leaving the house 15 minutes early. It's like, no, because you actually stopped to have breakfast and to like read the newspaper and do some like things that you like to do in the morning so that when you walked out the door, you're a lot calmer. But no, you're not going to leave 15 minutes early just because you woke up 15 minutes early. If you're adding all this other stuff in, you have to accept where you are and not kind of expect yourself to be further on down the line. So what I said to her was kind of like it's like you're going on a road trip to New York and you're expecting to leave from Virginia, but you're in Jacksonville, Florida.
It's not going to work.
It's never going to work because you're going to pull out onto 95 and be like, well, why am I not going, past the Capitol yet? Why am I not hitting Jersey yet? It's like, because you didn't start where you thought you were.
And if you don't start where you think you are, you're going to be trying to catch yourself the whole way.
Well, you got to get mad like, oh, I should be further. I should be further. It's like, no, if you accept where you're starting, then getting further is easy. If I accept the fact that I'm starting my road trip to New York from Jacksonville, when I hit the Georgia line, the South Carolina Georgia line, I'm going to be excited. Oh wow, I already made it through one whole state. Instead of getting mad that I'm not in Virginia yet, right? That's a pretty salient kind of example of where we have to kind of face ourselves. We have to take real stock of where we actually are when we're starting.
And I think that's the hardest thing, but I think the easiest way to do it is talking out loud, is talking to therapists, talking to your friends that know you well enough to know to reset you. That's something that I've been dealing a lot with the last couple of weeks is just I have a good enough friend support group that each of them knows what wing they can take of me. Like I said, I have an older friend who's kind of the grown up of the group. And when he says, no, Ben, you're not thinking of these things in the order of an adult, you're thinking as you as a child, it allows me to readdress those things. We spoke on, think of Saturday night. We started with all these ideas how I'm going to keep the house down here. And he took the grown up approach and said, okay, Ben, let's look at the financial part of this. Stop your dreaming. Let's actually look at this. And within a half an hour, it was okay, that's not feasible. Okay, I'm putting my eggs in the wrong basket instead of actually working towards the real goal.
Mhm.
And we all need friends like that. The other two throughout the whole day just let me vent. And then you always need that one say, okay, you got the venting over with, you got the bullshit about dreaming. Okay, now let's talk reality and move you forward. And I don't know how this happened in my life. All I know is I've taught all my friends a little bit about therapy from what you guys have taught me.
Mhm.
And through the last couple of years, they've all realized what portion they play in my life and where they keep me in track. And we have done the same for each other.
Mhm.
What I've found through this whole journey is honesty is hard, but you can always leave droplets so that when things do come out, people aren't shocked by things. And that was the nicest thing of everything I've gone through recently. Both parties is okay, about time. What do you guys want to do next? And
Mhm.
it's been relieving because it wasn't the, oh my God, this occurred. No, we all knew it was going to happen. Just now, what do we do moving forward?
Yeah.
Is the best way to do it? Probably not. But what I found is in life is you try things, you learn from them, you keep it moving, you don't sit and regret on things. So you can't do anything about in the past.
Hmm.
But life is a journey. And like I said, what I found in life and being a journey is you align yourself with the right people. Might not be a beautiful day every day, but as long as you have the right people in your life, it can be a beautiful moment in that horrible day.
Hmm. It's important to have a variety of people in our lives, right? We
It
have,
is.
like that's one of the things that I stress with people a lot is that we need people that fill different roles. Like you were just saying, they have to fill different roles. We have to have, the different people that are going to be there. Like who's going to bail me out of jail?
Yep.
Who the EMT is going to call if I got into a car accident? Who's there to like help me just focus on something else for a while? To completely just distract me about from the things that are bothering me so I can get a clearer head and approach it differently. Um, these are important things for us to have.
It's the biggest thing I've realized in the last 9 years. Again, going back to my ego. My ego can say, you don't need to be back in the rooms. Reality is I was doing what the rooms told me to do. And now I'm just coming back to make sure I have it all buttoned up the way it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
Life is a journey. And like I said, some of the best part of that journey is realizing in the hardest times, the greatest pieces that you picked up are always going to be there. You were building stability for yourself this whole time. You don't have to go through chaos every day to have those roots established for yourself
I think when we're going through hard times, it's important for us to find the places where we feel connected and to go
and
back.
helping others. Helping others is definitely it for me.
Well, I think just feeling connected, right? Because if we're going through a hard time, we're feeling really disconnected. And disconnection's a really hard feeling to live through. Not feeling like you're on the same page as the people you care about, not feeling like you are seen and heard, right? That's where most of our pain comes from, is having that sense of feeling invisible to a certain extent. And so when we're going through that, and it really doesn't even matter what we're going through, but when we're going through it, we need to do a good job of connecting to where we feel connected. So if you're going through a hard time, even though you're in sobriety and you've been sober for 9 years, the rooms are a good place to hang out because
People understand you.
it's not even that people understand you, it's that this is a place where I've always felt connected. I'm going through a hard time, so I feel kind of weightless. I kind of feel like I'm floating in air and I need to be grounded. I need to feel connected. So let me go to this place because this place makes me feel grounded and connected.
It does.
Mhm.
And that's the biggest blessing. And the nicest thing about it is, again, coming back after 9 years, it's cool saying I have 9 years, but it's also cool seeing brand new people coming in with their first time trying to get it.
Mhm.
It makes you realize how blessed you are to have those 9 years.
Did you see any other old patients or anybody from work?
No, none from work. The young lady I did speak to, she's like, "Oh, I know plenty of people that work where you work." I'm like, "Oh, great." But that was part of the reason too. And the funniest thing about where this meeting is every time I go see my mom on the West Coast, I've taken the same route and it's literally gone right by this church.
Mhm.
And this happens to be the church that I chose to go to a meeting with. I'm like, wait, I know these roads. Well, again, sometimes you don't know what's right in front of you until you turn in and oh, that's where I'm supposed to be.
Mm-mm. No, it's funny. It's funny when we discover that what oh, that's what was always there. I always wondered what that was. I've driven past this place a million times.
And lo and behold, it was where I was meant to be.
Hmm. Yeah,
Sometimes you just have to be willing to look for the signs.
sounds cool. Very cool. Well, I think that is a wrap for today. And we will pick this up in another 2 weeks. Thanks for listening, everybody.
This has been the Real Champions Podcast, Episode 4. Ben really needed a meeting. What does it mean to be a champion when that's your name? The Real Champions podcast is co-hosted by Heather Champion and Benjamin Champion. It's edited by Heather Champion. Produced by Maitri Counseling Services, all rights reserved. Questions or comments can be referred to Heather at Maitri Therapy, MAITRI-therapy.com.
You are not alone. Remember, if you or someone you know is struggling with thoughts of suicide, please call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-TALK. For local help, dial 211 on your phone to be connected to resources in your area. If you experience mental health or substance abuse issues, please call the National Alliance or Mental Health or NAMNI at 1-800-950-NAMNI. Or in a crisis, text NAMI, NAMI, to 741-741. Check out the NAMI website, nami.org, for additional resources.